The Danish lady started Dan Brew, fresh brew coffee, and it was all fresh brewed for offices. So we've come full circle now, where we went through the whole espresso era and coming back to where Dan Brew fresh brew coffee was all about, and that's all we sold, fresh brew coffee. Okay, I'm Paul Jackson from Dan Specialty Coffee here at Dale Street, Brookvale, and we've been roasting here since 2005, but been in Brookvale since 1994. So in 94, when I came to Brookvale, it was Dan Brew fresh brew coffee. And when I was selling Dan Brew fresh brew coffee, they didn't know it was 1 word, 2 words, so it was too hard. So we shortened it in 99 to become Danes. So we've been in Dale Street since 2005, and we were in Harbord Road. Brookvale was chosen for me. I had a motorbike, I had a Harley, and I used to like riding around. And there was no other better ride that I liked when I was living in Parramatta to ride to Manly. And I rode to Manly for a number of years, and an opportunity came up where the boys asked me to come and join Dan Brew. When I joined Dan Brew, it was taking this product to the offices where instant coffee was dominant. And so we had to try to create and build up what real coffee was all about. And it was mainly in the quality. Quality in business and business and quality doesn't necessarily go together. Of the big players, it's all about the money, and what the commodity looks like, it's just a commodity. To me, it's the other way around. To me, it's the experience. Back then in 94 wasn't about filter coffee or fresh brew coffee or fresh coffee. And so what we did was introduce fresh roasted coffee. So fresh roasted coffee was a novelty in Sydney back then. Education underpins Danes. It was a part of the DNA of Danes, and it always will be. The Institute started in 99. The training has always been there to introduce the concepts of how an espresso is created from the internals out, and then we focus on the technique. Give them the full technique of how it was and how to create it, so as that we can then, by remote control, work with everything that I trained into them. And the competitions that we've run, the competitions that I've always run for the last 20 years, has contributed to that standard that everyone enjoys now. We were there in the early days, so any roaster in the early days that is still around now could really just put it down to they were there early. When I used to do the training, I used to half-jokingly say and talk about the people that wake up in the morning and want to open a cafe. I like coffee, so let's open a cafe. It's that allure of being able to enjoy that cafe experience every day. Retail was brought back to our DNA last year, and rather than do just a normal cafe, then the opportunity came up when Rob, chasing chocolate notes in South Australia, he built the van. We watched it being built from scratch, and it didn't quite work out the way that he liked it to drive around, but it was available, so we picked it up. So it was designed as a coffee van. It was built for Danes, and now it sits out the front of Danes as an icon in the industry. People can drive in and stop, pick it up, and then drive out. And we had that, and that was designed last year, so as to really accommodate the issues that we had in 2020. With Rob being an avid Sanremo fan, particularly the racer, he decided that the new F18 was the machine to put in the van, so he put that in the van, which we sponsored, and it's still sitting in the van there now, and he's put it all over the back to make sure that everyone knows it's the F18 Danes espresso van. So Dane's relationship with Sanremo has gone back further than Sanremo in Australia has, with Marion and Nick. So the Calapricellos, before they were even in coffee, in 95, 96, we employed Marion, which is Nick's wife, and so that's where our relationship started. And now the F18's there. I think that they've done well in not only their technology and the design, but the aesthetics, because everyone wants a pretty machine. And so it's an attractive machine, the customers enjoy the looks of a machine, and they now identify with a machine that can make a good coffee. And that has always been the case. We're able to now enjoy the best of coffees being in Australia and having champions draw on the world's best in what we roast and how we roast. So as our customers are sport with the best flavours in the world. The world has all changed, and it's changing fast into the digital. And so while everyone is being terrorised by the digital and the governments that are driving home the digital, then the cafe and the coffee experience, in particular in 2020, took on a whole new life on top of the life that it already had, which was huge then. So I believe with the training back in the late 90s was there to introduce the correct technique into the cafes. I believe now that the home and the consumers that are taking it home are just as hungry, and so we're endeavouring now so as to fill that gap and so as to help them enjoy their experience as much as they can. And I've always found that being in the retail, I've always found that the home consumer is a lot more passionate than the cafes. So the consumer in the retail market is big, but it's going to be a lot bigger. So the cafe experience, their machine is warmed up, their grinder is set, the water is circulated, the barista is in tune and in his zone. So if you're looking for an amazing espresso from a coffee that you know that you can achieve a good espresso from, you can't beat and you can't go away from a great barista and a great cafe and the culture of what a cafe will give you. So the difference between cafe experience coffee and a home experience coffee, both brilliant, but both very different. So as much as we can put into the experience of creating our ritual and our coffee for home, nothing's going to replace going to that cafe and enjoying your espresso, enjoying your latte at a cafe, doing it with your friends, and or just getting out of the house. So they're quite two different markets. If you don't know your coffee, if you don't know what a good coffee is, then you can't make a good coffee. I think having done it for such a long time, it is part of who you are.